The big question is, when is the right time to retire? If you've ever thought that before, then this video is for you because we're going to go over the top 3 reasons to retire as soon as you can. But then we're also going to go over when you should really think about not retiring. The people that ignore this, they end up regretting their retirement. This is such an important topic because this can really be the best time of your life. And I know that as a fact because it's not only because we talk to clients and we hear it often, but there's also a research study that proves this as well. People were asked to score their life satisfaction from a 0 being the worst to a 10 being the most fulfilled. 10 is the best possible, 0 is the worst possible life. And this is the average score by age. Let me pull it up for you. Remember in our 20s or maybe your kids' 20s where you're leaving the joys of youth and oh, I got to get a real job now, and it's this pit of uncertainty where you don't really know what you're going to do next. Then we end up getting employment, we start working, but then the responsibilities of life, the responsibilities of families, that's a big part of our life, obviously. But then look at this. There's this amazing period of time, late 50s, early 60s, all the way through 70s. That's the peak of satisfaction. That looks pretty good to me. I don't know about you, but the question is, how do we get there? So let's get into the top 3 reasons to retire as soon as you can so that we can enjoy life to the fullest. Now, the first reason to retire is when you realize that that famous quote that you've heard before is actually false. And the quote that I'm thinking of is that famous "time is money." We now know that that is actually not true, because that might not make sense to you anymore because you're starting to realize, or you already know, that time is infinitely greater than money. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, there's something that we have less and less of every day, and that's time. But when it comes to money, you might be at the place where your money is actually making you more money without doing anything. But we know that money is not making any more time. So reason number 1 to retire is time. It's the scarcest asset we have. It's even more scarce than the assets that we've got in our retirement accounts. And that really leads into number 2, which is what we do or how we spend our time. You know, if we retire and now we have all of our time to use however we please, well, it's not going to be that great of a retirement if we're spending our time sitting on a porch sipping lemonade all day and not doing anything else. I know you don't want that for your retirement. You probably want something more engaging than that. And what we need to do is use our time and our energy while we have it, which is reason number 2. It's energy. Or we could also say health. You know, a big reason why so many clients, they decide to retire as soon as possible is because the 3 phases of retirement, which are, you've probably heard them before, and it's around these ages. It's the go-go years. It's a big font, hold on a sec. And then it's the slow go, and then as you get much older, it's the no-go years. Those are the 3 phases of retirement, and we want to make sure we're capitalizing and spending the go-go years the ways that we want to while we're still young. Our clients want to do the things that require healthy bodies and energy while we actually have both, you know, whether it's travel or hobbies or sports, some sort of activities, or it's keeping up with the grandkids. We want to be young enough and healthy enough to do those things that bring us joy and fulfillment. And sometimes, depending on your work can actually be adding more stress to your life, which ends up impacting your health negatively. It often does. Move on to the 3rd reason to retire as soon as you can, coming up, followed by the reason why you should definitely not retire. But let me know what you think about this video so far. If you like it, click the like button because that helps me determine what kind of videos are the most helpful to you. So reason number 3 is something we need our time and our energy for, our health for, and that's our relationships. You might have heard that story of that hospice nurse that wrote a book. She helped people during the last few weeks of their life, and she often asked them if they had any regrets or if they would do anything differently, if they could go back in time. And 2 out of the top 5 answers were, 1, I wish I hadn't worked so much, and then 2, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. That's a little bit sad, but we can learn from this. It's not too late. You've got people that you desire to create deeper relationships with during the golden years, the best times of your life. And it's a perfect time to do that. Even though you might have lost touch with old friends because of family, because of work, because of all the things of the last 20 or 30 years, we often see them reuniting after work takes up less of their time or less of their life. It's that idea of connection. It's such an important part for a healthy and happy retirement. It's actually one of the 3 C's that is that's an essential to retirement. Those 3 C's I'll pull up right now, which are connection, creativity. This can also be curiosity, learning. And then this last part is contribution to others. If you can remember those 3 and practice them, retirement can be the most fulfilling time of your life. Those are important: connection, creativity, and contribution. Now, let's not forget about when you should not retire. And that is when you're currently receiving and getting these 3 things from work: connection, creativity, and contribution to others. But you're also not sure if you're going to be able to continue those if you were to stop working. You know what I mean? If you've got those 3 things and it's not adding too much stress, and then you move into a retirement where you don't have those 3 things or all of them, going from a fulfilling career to a boring retirement can be a bit of a letdown and a big adjustment period. I know there's many factors at play, time and health and stress levels and things like that, but just keep those 3 C's in mind as you're evaluating your future. One final piece of advice that I got from retirees who are a few years ahead of us. They're in their 60s, most of them, and I was asking them questions, and I asked them, what advice would you give to someone who is not yet to retirement or getting close to retirement? And this actually comes from another video that I've got, and I'll put it on the screen somewhere or down below. But the number 1 piece of advice that they gave to someone who's close to retirement is do it sooner. As always, talk to your retirement specialist before making any big decisions. If you don't have one, reach out to us at Streamline Financial by clicking on the Get Started button on our website, and we'll get back to you. We don't always have time, but I'll get back to you either way. But I hope that video was helpful. If it was, share it with a friend, and then subscribe so that I can see you in the next one. Take care.